leaders that get to the level that you've been doing ministry for 25 years, 26 years, and can also become hoarders where they don't release it to do ministry and to, they become more like, hey, we just got to keep building up the stair. Well, obviously you have to save and steward, but there's also this addiction to accumulation instead of distribution to help people and to, I remember us talking about that.
Well, there's a parable. I teach on this parable, try to often in church, in this cycle of church, because I think it's such a great example of the man who God was blessing him, and so he said, "What am I going to do?" He had this conversation with himself, which is dangerous. You want to have a conversation with other people, not just with yourself. What will I do? He said, "I'll tear down these barns and I'll tear down these warehouses and I'll build bigger warehouses."
Right.
And then the Lord said at the end, "You fool! You thought it was for you, and so you accumulated all these possessions. Now who's gonna receive what you've accumulated?"
Yep.
And so I think I heard a long time ago some really, really profound advice from one of our overseers, David Briggs, who said, you have to understand like what's your measure and what's your appetite, and put some kind of boundary to your dreams. Wow. This is interesting.
It's like a beautiful phrase.
Like in terms of what when's enough?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll just keep tearing down this warehouse and build a bigger warehouse.
Yeah.
If this house is not enough, you're just going to aspire to get to the next house and the next house and the next house. And then you never live with an overflow mentality. In other words, God can never get through. He can never get stuff through you to other people because you keep thinking, well, it's for me.
Yep.
So at some point, if this is your measure and these are your boundaries, then when God blesses you in a bigger way, well, you know that it must be for somebody else.
Yeah, strong.